Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we have another reaction video, a little bit of a change from the debates I've been uploading. Today I'm reacting to a Jubilee debate. It's one progressive versus 20 far-right conservatives with Mehdi Hassan. Now, I gotta say, I've seen this because I first saw clips going around on Twitter. I don't usually watch these Jubilee debates, but I saw clips going around on Twitter. There was this goofy-looking guy who was, I think might be the first person we're reacting to, this overweight chud who came on here to argue that, you know, he was a fascist and he doesn't care about the Nazis. And he's also a Catholic, which, you know, makes a whole lot of sense. But I decided to give this video a watch, and I got to give it to Mehdi. I mean, one, he handled a lot of these people extremely well, but two, he was able to keep his composure in the face of really just a lot of barbarity. There's no other way to put it. These people are barbarians. And if you are anyone who is not already brain rotted, in other words, if you're anyone who's not on the far right, it's time to realize that no one else is your enemy to the extent that these people are. These people are subhuman in every sense of the word. And I don't mean, you know, they would twist it and say, you mean white people? You mean this? No. We have a beautiful hodgepodge of races here that adhere to this horrific, abhorrent ideology. You can see, you know, there are like brown people who are sitting there as the people call this Mehdi guy a non-American. And they're as cowardice as the people levying the charges are. And if you look at the far right, I mean, they're led around by a Mexican, Nick Fuentes, and an Indian, Gypsy Crusader, a few racially ambiguous people. So these people, I'm not here saying that there is a race that's responsible for this. Obviously not. But this ideology, this anti-intellectualism, it has got to go. And so I wanted to react to the video. I'm going to cut it up and make some TikTok clips too, just because these people are laughably idiotic and need to be shamed for their disgusting ideas. So with that being said, let's get into the first clip.
Nice
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Mandy, lovely to meet you.
And this is the first guy. As you can see, he had to really lock in before this run here. Okay, that's gonna be kind of frustrating. I'm gonna have ads coming, but you can see he really had to lock in here before he made this run, because he probably hasn't ran this amount since, you know, he was forced to do the mile in middle school. His body is reflective of such a thing. And look at the way he runs. Just disgusting. Surprised he was able to find clothes to fit his body.
Mandy, lovely to
Look at this pear shape.
meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frank.
Okay.
Because in regards...
And look how happy he is about the approbation of his fellow idiots.
regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us.
Yes.
And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be.
These people are so stupid. He says, I don't care about the Constitution because it should serve us. We can change the Constitution through amendments. That's the entire point, idiot. The Constitution is a framework within which you are supposed to limit your actions such that you rise to the level of a civilization and not a barbarous group of people vying for their own interests with nothing barring just horrific action. But these people are too stupid to understand that, so they go right into this fascist ideology, not understanding that dysgenic people like this are the first to go when a fascist regime actually takes power.
Defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is
just so stupid. He's so dumb that he conflates things as they instantiate themselves with the system through which they instantiate themselves. If you disagree with things that are happening in the country, then vie to change it, but do so within the constitutional order. To excise, to get rid of, to obviate the constitutional order is to beg the question of what will take its place. And none of these people have an answer as to what will take its place because they are ignorant on political theory. These people, you know, they lambast Mehdi for being racially non-white, when the reality is he is more in line with the spirit of the American founding than any of these idiots are, because the American founding was about erecting an order within which we could actually make decisions and come to conclusions. But these people want to get rid of the order so that their will can be instantiated, not understanding that it's going to backfire on them just like it always does.
Wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise, I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
Whenever
the
it's in
Second
your favor?
Amendment. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
you don't
it's the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree, and
So
that's
you
part of
support
the problem.
Trump? You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I
Why
can't
did
even
you-
remember.
And look at his stupid smile. I'm trying to
Why
pause
did
on
you
it.
vote
Just
if you don't believe
the
in
video's
democracy?
in 1.5 speed, so I keep missing it.
You want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted.
This is
I kind
fascinating.
of voted just to
I came with this
troll a
argument,
little
but I'm
bit,
bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
how do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local
Who
leaders,
is the we, by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far right conservatives sitting right around
White
me.
people?
Yeah,
No brown
absolutely.
people. So
Well,
some
actually,
of you guys,
I have quite.
some of the people
I
in this
have
room
quite-
don't make the cut
no,
from what I can
actually,
see visually.
Actually,
Okay.
hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you.
Okay.
I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white and should stay that
How
way.
does the United States? I mean, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under? So, what's your name?
My name is my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well,
saying, like,
I use
Connor-
a pseudonym.
It's also really stupid because these people say we need to maintain the traditional demographics of America. So what are you talking about? Do you want to go back to being white Anglo-Saxon Protestants? I think it's a little bit too late for that. Where do you want to put this arbitrary line? You want to make up a new category of white that the founders who you idolize, not really, you claim to idolize, disagreed with. Ben Franklin said that Germans weren't white. Most white Americans are German. So do we kick them out too? It's just stupid. None of this ideology has any basis in rationality. And, these people are honestly a joke. Sometimes I criticize people. I'm a liberal. Sometimes I criticize people who are to the left of me. But when I see these idiots come out in full force, it makes me realize that if you are not on the far right, if you're like a liberal or to the left of a liberal, everyone just needs to unite against these stupid people because, frankly, their entire side is a joke.
Online,
Fair enough.
but
Connor,
fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask about
whether-
deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco. It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
No, but
who
who picks the autocrat?
frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote.
Yeah, and so now he went back, like literally a minute later, he was like, I'm not for democracy. And then he proposes a democratic means of electing a leader. How stupid are these people? And he talks about an aristocratic class. Go back to 4chan, dude. Like, this guy is, frankly, retarded.
On a kings
So
were
isn't
paid-
that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that state.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills because
How do
that's
you-
Oh, yeah, you get to decide that. Like, how stupid are you? These people are so historically ignorant. It's amazing.
thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the
you-
Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a
Who
fan of
ca-
the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi
I
at
didn't
all.
say that. I
Doesn't
didn't
matter
actually
to
say
me.
that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
What about the
you know,
persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But
And
you
so
don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution
We
and
may
stuff
have
like
to
that, which
rename
is
the
bad.
show
but,
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
hey, what can I say?
Honestly, this guy is so, he's ugly on top of it, but he is just so ugly, physically and ideologically. Combined with the historical illiteracy, you have to wonder if this guy was like planted to make them look bad, because this is controlled opposition levels of idiocy here. Like, no normal person is going to look at this and think, yeah, that's the type of guy I want to ally myself with. It just makes their side look extremely stupid. And this whole video really does that.
I think you could say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Ugh. Gross. Hold on. We gotta rewatch that in like Normal speed. That laugh.
Well, sure.
That's just
you
odious.
can have a vote to get
Far right.
Yeah, I am.
Ugh. Gross. Let's put this back in 1.25.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this.
in
Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
clearly you're not.
During
Clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats.
Are
They
you
were
in favor
aristocrats.
of,
They
are you in
didn't care.
favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not.
You mentioned Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
So, wait, you see how he conflates communists with people who do these horrific acts? Do you think every single one of them did it? And he says that right after he says, do you support, he's asked, do you support killing people who are not like you? He says no, and then he talks about how, well, this guy killed people who weren't like me, so that's good. This guy's just an idiot, man. Bottom feeder.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic,
He only
dude.
killed combatants. Is that what you're claiming?
Oh, he was Catholic, so he never killed anybody. How stupid can you be?
Killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The white terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill people.
You just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi
And
and
the
being a
feeling
Nazi,
is mutual,
and
so-
being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't. In a state that I was
with the
running,
greatest of
I wouldn't
respect.
want. I wouldn't.
If being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, what are you even talking about, man? This guy is a joke.
Want to hurt
I
you
don't
or
debate.
anything like that, but
What are we
quite
doing here?
frankly,
I don't debate fascists.
okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So
And you know, in this video, these people try to make him seem like he did the wrong thing for saying he did. Why would you debate this guy? This guy's openly said, number one, he's proved himself to be an idiot. He says he doesn't support democracy, but we can directly elect an autocrat. Stupid. You contradicted yourself. He has a completely warped view of history and contradicted himself again whenever he said that, you know, he doesn't support killing people who are different from him, but it's okay to kill communists. Like, okay, so ideological differences are not differences, and they are sufficient to kill people. I mean, what are you talking about? And so there really is no reason to engage with a guy like this. He is completely anti-American in spirit. He's anti-constitutionalism. And so honestly, this guy needs to just fuck off and get out of the country. Frankly, that's how I feel about these people, because if you hate the system that much, then get the fuck out. There's really nothing else to say to these people. I'm really tired of these far-right, self-admitted fascists pretending as though they have any stake or claim to the country just because of their fucking ancestry. I mean, give me a break. You are carried by liberal states like New York and California economically. You're carried by the very immigrants that you demonize. We need to just fucking take these people and stick them in their own little state, give it to them, and then tell them to fuck off so they can stop leeching off of the achievements of other people who are better than them in every respect, who are more economically positive. And, you know, I mean, we'll see how well they do.
I mean, what are we doing?
So, but that's it for this guy. Let's see. The next guy is at 3250. Thank God we don't have to look at his face anymore. Okay, so this is Kai. I've actually done a reaction video to Kai. He is slightly less idiotic than the former guy, though that's not saying much.
Hey,
Meet you, sir.
I'm Mehdi.
Mehdi, great to meet you. My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Overall, yes.
Do you believe that that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by road?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process.
This just doesn't even make any fucking sense. The founders wanted it to change. So to say the original intent would be disobeyed by changing it is to not understand what the original intent itself was. Do you know that the original Constitution for the state of Massachusetts had a right to revolution in it? Have you read the Declaration of Independence, which says that there are justifiable times to sever the political ties which bond a people? These were a revolutionary people who believed in change whenever the people reflected a will that was different than the order that ruled over them. So to say if democratic means lead to a change in the Constitution, is the Constitution eroded, is to misunderstand the premise upon which the Constitution was founded. These people should not be speaking about these things because they are historically and politically ignorant.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If
Okay.
we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States is drastically changed.
Yes.
And the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the country. Let's say it wants to give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics.
And these idiots clap, but the reality is demographic replacement is not leading to an ideological loss for the right wing. Did you see how Latinos voted in the 2024 election? So these people are wrong on literally every count. I can't find a single count on which they are correct. Even demographic replacement does not lead to the kind of consequences that they're talking about. Trust me, I wish that every single immigrant who came in here voted against people like Trump and people like this, but they don't, unfortunately. However, I'm not advocating for extra constitutional means as the way to disenfranchise them and their vote, because unlike these people, I am actually an adherent to the American ideology, to the liberal ideology upon which this country was founded.
What is the... I do want to talk about immigration today.
I hope we talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get to immigration.
Yes, sir.
I've saved it. I've saved it for you all. But given we're on the sense of the Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants in this country? What proportion of the population is foreign-born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
But what is currently the best estimate of official
I think it was about 15%.
Yes,
yeah,
just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So
but 15% of the people are going to change the country, change the Constitution. How's that going to work? It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the Constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the Constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know, last time we had a constitutional amendment?
You know
like
what?
20, 30 years ago.
I understand, which
and
is
it was
why
all I think members of Congress pay.
Which is why... No, I get it.
So where are you getting this scenario where 350-odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants, and then abandons the Constitution and gives the country back to Mexico?
It's a completely ridiculous hypothetical, just like every other argument that these people pose. They are disconnected from reality in every single regard. So he's 100% right to call out the ridiculous nature of this hypothetical, because the empirical realities contradict the projection that he is, positing.
Side of your imagination. Where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did is you entertain my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when
because you missed out the part where the Constitution is quite hard to change.
Hold on. I understand that. I gave you.
I also wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's a very liberal idea.
I don't debate fascists. I'll talk to them, but I won't debate them.
Frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we value freedom of speech.
What are you talking about? Why would you debate someone who openly admits that they don't give a shit about truth? They only care about self-interest and imposing their will on other people. There's nothing to debate there. Debate happens within an enclosed system within which there are rules that are commonly understood for all interlocutors. Okay? There is no debate when the other side says they don't care about what is right or what is wrong or what is true or what is false, and all they care about is their own self-interest. So let's stop pretending as though we have to debate every single person with every single idea. We don't, and no one, not even the founders, would have said that that is the case.
So much, but any real journalist is not going to talk to somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the guy in front of you. What are you talking about?
You literally stop talking to him, and then everybody has to vote
debating versus talking is very different.
Okay.
And it's funny that these people talk about how the left virtue signals when they cry for 10 minutes because he won't entertain some idiot 4chaner who self-identifies as an autocrat who believes that autocrats should be enacted through democratic means even though he opposes democracy.
Okay,
he doesn't believe in free speech.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in democracy.
He was freely speaking with you. You're the one who shut up.
No, he said it very clearly.
Okay,
he said, I support free speech so that I can get one election. After one election, my guy comes in. And after my guy comes in, nobody gets to speak or vote again. Why would I debate that?
We listen to your conversation.
Well, I'm reminding you what it said because you just misrepresented.
Let's bring it back to the Constitution.
Please do. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th Amendments. Those are the ones I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you support that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very
Those particular interests you oppose. Let's be clear.
Core of American Constitution.
And
Fifth Amendment.
And what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show you.
Is Trump defying the Constitution? That's my claim. You can have these weird hypotheticals
We're taking it into a different meta, which is what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did.
Yeah, but now I don't
just 5
want
minutes
to.
ago when you took the immigration
Now I don't want to.
Okay, let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the First, the Fourth, the Fifth, and the 14th Amendments, and the 22nd Amendments. Either you say... You've got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
So there's two options ahead of you.
No, hold
Do
on,
you
hold on.
agree?
This is
Okay, we're going to skip to the next one because I don't want this video to drag on too long, and I do think that the substance, if I remember right, the substance, yeah, they're basically done. So the substance of disagreement is over there. My next timestamp is at 48:44, it looks like. Yes, that's the beginning of this one. But again, I don't really want to, because this kid comes up twice, so we're going to skip in a little bit where they start talking about... I want to highlight what this kid says to Mehdi.
1,000 H-1B visas, and it's kind of just standard economic thinking. If you
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast
okay.
majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time
That's not-
from
that's just-
immigrants.
that's
In fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries,
Let's see, these people go for a while. Let's...
Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration.
Did I
We
say
have
I
not
voted
had an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say I
We've
voted
not-
Republican?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25 far-right Republicans.
That
I
doesn't mean I'm
assume
going to
you
support
are.
every single Republican
Good. So
candidate.
you and I, good. So you and I,
Yeah,
you and I,
don't
let's
support-
agree.
I don't
We
support-
both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of
Can I
low wages in the
respond?
country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires,
Yeah, and the-
people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a
I
native
get the
born
monologue right now. Let me respond.
You had
right?
one. You had one
No,
with your
yeah, but-
one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study like sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So like, let's get back to the point,
because,
right?
because I don't need
And
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again. Yeah, let's hear it.
Why would you need to know who wrote a study to cite it? That's just idiotic.
The majority of studies say that wages are not impacted
The
by
majority of your
migration over
studies
time.
are flawed. That's what I'm
They're not
telling
my
you.
studies.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The majority of economists are wrong when they say that immigration is a positive for the economy, when they say that it doesn't negatively impact wages, broadly speaking. That's just so stupid. You're standing in opposition to the entire field of economics. So don't cite it if you're going to stand in opposition to the field of economics. Don't pretend as though you know better. Okay? You can say they're wrong, but then you don't get to cite economists. You don't get to cite economic speculation or empirical studies because you stand in opposition to the consensus.
I don't know if it's economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm
Are
going to
you?
major in economics,
Are
right?
you an economist?
No, not right
Okay,
now.
so when I said neither is an economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your
things.
favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get
That's
to the point.
great, but
so
you're
when you
not an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I
was
know
like
what it means? I thought we were doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting
That's how
poverty
it's always
wages.
been counted.
Yeah,
I'm against poverty wages.
you
Can we
won't let
agree
me
again?
Yes, if you go to like the Lookwood Institute, they calculate it a way where it's like functional unemployment. Okay, if you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part-time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go,
Why would you not count part-time workers? Because a lot of those people are going to be younger people. That just doesn't even make any sense. Like, not all part-time workers are forced into part-time positions. This is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I've made this point before, but the median age of a white person in the country is like 44. The mode is like 58. And it's the same thing for black Americans. It's slightly less grim when it comes to Hispanic and Asians just because they're newer immigrants. But to say that we don't have a labor shortage is to ignore the populational realities of America. And it's to ignore actual case studies like Japan, wherein people like this won out. People like this idiot right here with this Texas hat won out. And now you look at places like Japan, and they have completely inverted population pyramids. They're begging for immigrants because their countries have collapsed as a result of illogical tribalism and a reluctance bordering on straight up unwillingness to let in anyone who doesn't look like them. And guess what? They grew $200 billion over the course of 20 years with regard to their GDP. We grew 10 trillion. So people like this, their policies have been tried and they lost, and we did the opposite and we won out. Yes, things are not perfect in America, but I can tell you that they're a hell of a lot better than the countries that decided against opening up to immigrants.
Job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say
hires
that.
the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So
But
when you bring up these big firms,
okay, so
that's the
let me
way
ask
that
you,
keep
let me
wages
ask you
down.
a
You
question.
understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and
Look at this guy shaking. What is wrong with him?
employers of big firms would suddenly raise all the wages?
notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't answer
believe.
what I said. You
That's
notice
what
how
you
it was
believe.
complete. Your
That's
ankles
what
were
you
right. You
believe.
pivoted the
That's
hell
what
away
you
from the
believe. Is that what you?
conversation.
I'm on
Your
the
ankles
subject.
okay?
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are.
This guy is like on meth or something. I mean, his
believe that
hand is shaking. He's tapping his foot. He can barely keep eye contact. This guy is a freak.
1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we
forced
stop
to.
immigration.
They will be forced to.
great
When you
business
increase
idea.
labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're
But this
tightening
is a
the
very
supply of
simplistic
labor.
understanding of economics because
Okay,
you're
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs.
About
through their
about
presence.
1/5 of their monthly
They spend-
income leaves the
they
country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like USA foreign aid. So this is the point. They create
Don't
jobs. I
assume
came
that.
into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit
Why?
about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never said
politics.
Americans
I
are
don't know
lazy.
why you say
I
that.
Look at this like weirdo. So first of all, he tells them to get out. He makes up something that Mehdi never said. And he pretends as though this guy speaks for Americans. He's completely un-American with regard to his ideology. And honestly, frankly, he should get the hell out. Like I said, these people need to be, honestly, just give all of these idiotic far-right people their own state and let it secede from the Union. And we will see how well they do when they cannot ride on the back of the achievements of liberal states like New York or California, which carry the American economy. I'm tired of the hubris, the unjustified arrogance that comes out of these people's mouths.
Americans
Yes,
are
you
lazy.
are.
The only person
You're saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have to
is
come
you.
into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do.
I
That's
never said
exactly
those
what you
words.
said.
When did I say?
Oh, really? You
When did
didn't
I
say
say?
it.
And look at how he is about to cry.
On YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants
With
are
the
doing
fake smile, he's shaking, he's about to cry. Just get the hell out of here, man.
we don't want to do. When did I say those words? When
You
did that
said-
came out of my mouth?
Okay, so why do we have to bring immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking.
All right, we got the next one is an hour. Let's see who this is. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, this guy.
Typically in history
Another very dysgenic person.
are going to be like race, religion, ethnicity, language. These are some of the things that we have to have in common in order to actually have a functioning civilization, especially
That just doesn't make any sense. If you're listing those as all independently necessary conditions, race, then you're just contradicted by the historical record. Do you think Rome had a single race? Obviously not. Do you think the Macedonian Empire had a single race? No. They superimposed Greek identity with regard to the Macedonian Empire. That doesn't make them actually Greeks. For Rome, they had uniting cosmopolitan philosophies like Stoicism and then Christianity later on. Does that make them all one race? No. And so the literal historical record contradicts this notion. These people like to pretend as though the nation state was the unit of organization, the political unit of organization throughout history. It's not. It's actually a very new thing. Prior to that, empire was the norm. And before that, you had like smaller city-states like you had in Greece. But the reality is you did not have nation states built on this idea of being a common race with an ancestry and really a mythological story, because that is the basis of the nation, is mythology. And so these people have a completely erroneous understanding of history, and their propositions are simply untrue.
self-government. I'm not necessarily a giant fan of self-government. I'm a Catholic nationalist. I'm not a fascist. You have to have at least some things in common in order to actually have a civilization. And the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants that come to this country now, disrespect us. They hate everything that we believe. They don't even speak our language. I watched, after Trump got elected, I watched an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face. It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So you've
and they
gone from a
abuse our-
teleological argument into just a bunch of series of wild, unsubstantiated
asking
claims.
you, what is
well,
the-
I don't accept any of those claims.
Okay,
They
what's
hate
the point of
everything
a
we
country?
stand for, and I don't accept. Well, I'm not going to deal with the teleology. I'm going to deal with the false claims that you
Okay,
made.
go ahead.
There's no. What's your basis for saying that all immigrants or all undocumented immigrants hate everything we stand for? It's funny that you said you're a Catholic.
He has no basis. These people on the far right, and I'm sorry, really the right in general, just spew bullshit that they see on Twitter or Fox News or Tucker Carlson or Joe Rogan. They don't have a basis for their claims. That's the thing you have to understand when you argue against them. When you argue about the economics of immigration, it doesn't make sense to throw a study at them because they probably couldn't read the study if you put it in front of their face. Okay, these people, they not only do they not read, but they can't read. They are illiterate. And so we have to stop pretending as though argumentation is an appropriate medium through which we can reach these people. We cannot. These people are often lost, and they are living in falsely constructed realities. We need, I don't really know how to approach them, but, rational debate, it just doesn't work with these people because they have a completely warped view of reality.
Nationals. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics, immigration. Much of the people coming across the southern border are
Conquest.
Catholics.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
And yeah, that is the irony. I mean, a lot of these people are the posterity of immigrants. And guess what? Not only are they the posterity of immigrants, but they're the posterity of immigrants that were demonized by people who are just like them. by people who said that their people represented decadence and the decline of the American people. In fact, I actually want to read a quote. This is from Samuel F.B. Morse. This is from 1835. He says, "If there is nothing intrinsic in our society which is likely to produce so sudden and mysterious an effect, the inquiry is natural. Are there not extrinsic causes at work which have operated to disturb the harmonious movements of our system? The cause is foreign immigration." And I'll skip a little bit. He says, "Then, in the colonial and revolutionary period, our accessions by immigration were real accessions of strength, from the rank of the learned and the good, from the enlightened mechanic and the artisan, and intelligent husbandman. Now immigration is the accession of weakness, from the ignorant and the vicious, or the priest-ridden slaves of Ireland and Germany." By the way, most white Americans are German. So the priest-ridden slaves of Ireland and Germany, that is your ancestors that they are talking about. "Or the outcast tenants of the poorhouses and prisons of Europe. Then immigration was natural. It was an attraction of affinities. It was an attraction of liberty to liberty. Immigrants were the prescribed for conscience' sake and for opinion's sake. The real lovers of liberty. Europe's loss, our gain." So these people are parrots of people who were like them, only those prior peoples attacked their ancestors. And now they do the same thing against other people, not understanding that they're falling into the same illogical tribalism that was wrong before and it's wrong now.
So it's really funny that you say you're a Catholic nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah, so there's...
So immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
No. We were here on this side of the world, in this continent, from conquest. We came over here and
The white Anglo-Saxon Protestants made up the majority of early Americans. It is not true that we were here from conquest, unless you're saying, are you a Spaniard? In which case, you're not an early American. By any means, the Spaniards did not form the base of original founding stock. So I really don't know what he's talking about. There were some Catholics here, of course. I mean, yeah, you had places like Maryland and stuff. But the reality is most were not Catholics, and Catholics were discriminated against in early America.
Big surges of numbers, as you well know, because you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not even claiming...
Against those?
I'm not even
were you
claiming,
against those if you were
well,
alive
I'm
then?
not even claiming that
A lot of
immigration
people
is
were against
bad.
those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us...
Yeah, that's the same thing they said. It's bad now. I just read a quote where it said that immigration prior to now was amazing. It was great. It was the accession of the strong. But now it's terrible. And so, I mean, it's the same illogical argument.
It's funny you say it's especially now.
Thing.
I forgot your name. My apologies.
Brian. Yeah. How many?
In every era, there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now."
Okay.
This is what people said about Italians. It's what people said
That's
about Irish folks. Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about people coming across the southern border. Because you're not being, you're being a little disingenuous. Saying I'm only against immigrants now. This is a trope.
How's that disingenuous?
This is because it's a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history. And every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy tropes. And every wave of immigration is ultimately assimilated, integrated, benefited the country. In fact, assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington, assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first.
Yeah, no shit. They are higher now. Do you know we had to enact laws to get people to stop speaking German in the build-up to World War I because we were worried about them supporting a foreign nation? Yeah, and do you know that there was similar discrimination against Irish people because Irish people refused to assimilate? They would go to Irish Catholic schools because they refused to assimilate religiously or ethnically. They still imagine themselves as Irish. They did not want to enter the body of American people. And so to pretend as though it is only modern immigrants that are not assimilating is ridiculous. Mehdi is exactly right. Assimilation happens to a higher degree now, obviously, because we're connected through social media. And there is a sort of universalization of American identity that is happening even beyond our own borders. And so a lot of these people just don't understand. Yeah, immigration was even more difficult. Immigrants were even more difficult to assimilate in the prior waves than they are now. The only difference is that these waves are larger than the prior waves were. They're more sustained.
I think that you in your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people who don't have anything.
That's just ridiculous. So you want to import people who only believe what you believe because someone's ideologically different from you? They represent what? Something that should not be brought in? That's just stupid. The Catholics believed in a fundamentally different religion from the Protestants. And yes, that does impact the way that they want to legislate. That impacts the way that they want to govern. And so immigrants have always been different from the native population with regard to their interests.
With us, you're pro-abortion, you're pro-euthanasia, you're pro...
I'm pro-euthanasia?
Yeah, you went... I've seen your stuff. You've defended euthanasia.
Pro-euthanasia?
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that you don't agree
Actually,
with
I'm
the
the guy
founders of
here.
this country.
If anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution.
Yep.
I've got folks here telling me
Why-
they don't believe in
100% right.
democracy, but they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that, by the way?
Isn't that what
Why should we care about that? So it's never been about immigrants coming in and being un-American. It's about the fact that you disagree with America. You don't believe in the founding ideals. And so it never was about immigrants. It's about the fact that you want to enact your fascistic will on everyone else. Yeah, no. You can get the hell out.
What does America
No,
stand
no,
for?
why-
So
why-
you hate what America stands for,
No,
not me.
I'm not even
and in
saying-
fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more
So
patriotic
the only reason,
than native-born Americans.
the only reason why, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned down?
Please don't send us.
Another stupid false statement. I already made a video talking about how exaggerated those riots were. Riots, in quotes, by the way.
Back to the country that we're waving the
I've
flag
been in LA for a few
Ooh.
days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the
Where?
riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if
in
it's
the
burned down, where's it
military.
all burned down? I haven't seen
They
it.
firebombed
I've traveled around all of
cars.
LA.
They
You said
firebombed
LA was
Waymo's.
burned down. LA
Yeah,
is
it's a
500
figure
square
of
miles.
speech.
It's
Yeah,
not a figure
I'm
of speech.
sorry.
Look at this. Now it's a figure of speech whenever it's falsified. Ridiculous.
I'm
Another
saying
false
that they're
claim of yours.
burning. No, they're burning
I support
buildings.
euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground.
Bro, just listen.
Immigrants.
Wait, I thought it was a figure of speech. Now he's saying they're actually burning buildings. Is it a figure of speech or are you actually making a claim? How stupid are these people?
What we stand
Flags.
for.
Okay, so
I'm super
so
relaxed.
you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying one false thing after
no,
another.
so you're pro-abortion.
And I'm
right?
standing by my position.
You're,
Immigrants are good
you're
for
pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm
Where's
pro
the-
Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
Personally, I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know that.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
All right, let's see. We have 115. 115. 45. Oh, yeah, it's this guy again. I don't think we've reacted to him yet. This guy is retarded.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe they have something on all
But you
Americans.
think it's a bad thing what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no,
Glad
that's
to
why,
agree with
but
you.
See, I don't want to shut
I'm
down
not
the
mocking you, I'm
conversation.
agreeing with you.
Okay, perfect. But I want to take this opportunity because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again to say you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember when I said the
I'm
agitation
saying-
from you is not
no,
going to be
no,
lower?
What I'm saying,
You came
though-
to lower the temperature.
Again, the irony of these completely illiberal, un-American people saying that Mehdi is an American because he is not white, just fucking ridiculous. These people have said that they disregard constitutionalism, they disregard liberalism, they disregard democracy. They don't believe in any of the founding ideals. And, you can say, okay, some of the founders were also skeptical of democracy, but those same people believed in constitutionalism. They believed in liberalism as a philosophy. These people don't. And so what claim do they have to America? This is why they lean so hard on their race, because other than that, they have no claim to this place. They may as well just leave because they're not the ideological heirs to the founders. They're not the dispositional heirs to the founders either. The founders were liberal through and through. And so, these people really should just be disregarded. I'm saying this, but I'm never going to reach these people. Hopefully I will reach some, maybe moderates or something, but these people are just a joke.
And then
I know,
make
but
racist
listen,
remarks. You know that's a racist remark,
It's
right?
not racist.
You tell an American
okay,
citizen.
But
who
okay,
is a-
perfect. You just proved your own point.
Go on.
You just said that was a racist position.
Yes.
Earlier,
Yeah.
you argued this contention that America has no race. It's a bunch of immigrants that culminate together.
Never said America has no race.
You inferred it. You absolutely did. So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. You're
What
kind
is
of
an American national approach? Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach. Of course,
Only
absolutely.
Americans are white
Why
people.
did your parents
So
immigrate
Americans
from
are
India?
only white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's
That's not
opportunity.
true. You don't know.
It's just the stupidest thing in the world for him to tie that to race, though, the opportunity to race. The places with the most opportunity in America, I think places like New York City or San Francisco or Hollywood, are the most diverse places. No one's going to the whitest places in America. No one's fucking going to Appalachia to start their career as a movie star or to start up a tech company. And so stop trying to tie it to race when the reality is you are carried on the back of the very diversity that you abhor. But we have one more here, 127. Let's see what this. Oh yeah, it's this fucking idiot again. Let's hear. I forgot what he says here that made me. Let's see. I think I remember.
It literally says that we are here to segregate Judaism from Zionism. It's very clear they're doing this in their own interest. That's why it literally says Jewish Voices for Peace. They're going to be the good Jews who say that we don't support Palestine. And then what happens is you take all of these progressives, you go out there and LARP in the street, and then everyone here who's conservative, they're going to vote for the pro-war candidate because they don't want to be associated with all the
Oh,
liberals.
so you're forced to vote for pro-war people. Poor
It's either that or get
conservatives.
replaced in my country. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you and your replacement bullshit.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Oh, wow. There's 3 people so far. Let's keep counting. We should be done. I said to you, otherwise you'll deport us. What a great argument. This is the free speech debate camp. It's not your country, my friend. It's our country, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, Mehdi fucking, I gotta give it to him. He did cook there. Yeah, that's right. It is our country. And, you know, really, I don't even like that he said our, because it's not this guy's fucking country. The only connection he has to this country is that he is maybe the same race as the founders. Now, hopefully he doesn't have any German in him, because then Ben Franklin is going to kick him out like the swarthy piece of shit that he is. But these people, again, I'll reiterate one final time, they are not the ideological heir to America. They don't believe in any of the ideas that the secular, liberal, modern founders believed in. And honestly, these people, the founders would abhor these people because they advocate the obviation of the very structures that they put up that were meant to safeguard from tyrannical, fascistic people like this. And, you know, I don't usually throw around the word fascist, but these people self-ID as that now. And so we should treat them as such. These people are not Americans. They are threats to everything that America truly is. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. You know, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you want to debate, you know, hit me up in the comments below. Tomorrow I'm going to debate on race realism. But I just wanted to react to this, and yeah, see ya.